Hey everyone, it's me, Miss Novaleen, and now is part 2 of our tattoo series. So this is going to be talking a little bit more about kind of what happens when you go, what the pain is like, how everything sort of works. So as it stands, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 tattoos. I hadn't counted in a while. I forgot. For some reason, I kept thinking I had 7. I have 9 tattoos. So I know what the pain is sort of like. I don't have anything like on my chest or on my torso yet, so I can't comment on that, and I can't comment on knees or ankles or, well, I guess I can sort of comment on ankles. I've got 2 tattoos that are quite close to my ankles, but I can't comment on like elbows, anything like that. I can only comment on what I've got, and I've got, my upper arm done. I've got kind of like the fleshy bits of my arm near my wrist, the inside of my arm, and my legs. There's one on my shin, and there's 2 getting quite close to my ankles. What everybody wants to know, the pain. How bad is it? What is it like? Obviously, it's going to be different for everyone. My boyfriend says that tattoos are nothing. They're not painful at all. They're just kind of annoying. Some of my tattoos were definitely uncomfortable, and I would say some bits were painful, but you push through it. If you move, you get a bad tattoo. It's as simple as that. And if you kind of psych yourself up thinking it's going to be the most unfortunately horrible pain imaginable, that you're never going to get through it, you know what? It's not actually that bad. I would describe it to feel generally like a cat scratch. If you've ever been scratched by a cat, it feels like a cat scratch. It feels sharp and a bit stingy, but definitely by no means is it unbearable. It feels very sharp in some places. Isn't that bad? I personally find the line work worse than the shading. I know a lot of people see it the other way around. I find the shading as not being that bad. The only one that I would say did kind of suck is right here up at the top, right where this bone is. When Captain Jake was shading there, like he really had to dig in, and I was lying on my side and he was kind of like over top of me, and oh my god, that was really uncomfortable. That was, I haven't done any really long sessions. This one I did in 2 sessions, of 2 hours each. So I haven't done any like 7-hour marathons, but that one was quite bad. He did admit that my skin really wasn't taking the black very well, so he did like really have to dig in there quite hard. This one was pretty sharp. Up at the top right here, and right here, it got uncomfortable. I did kind of like squeeze onto my clothes and did make some kind of grimacy faces like, generally it's not that bad though. I would say the least painful one was probably this one. It was like nothing. It felt almost like scratching your skin. This one was a little bit painful at the back of my arm, and then some of my leg ones were a bit sharp near the ankle, and I did kind of grimace a bit, but like I've never cried, I've never whimpered, I've never like freaked out and wiggled around. That is the worst thing you can do, is to get really fidgety when you're getting tattooed. If you can, just stay as still as possible and just be relaxed. Talk to the tattoo artist. It's a very similar sort of situation to being at your hairdresser's. They just chat with you, they kind of become your psychologist. It's quite good though. You do kind of get a lot of things off your chest, and you do kind of get to meet them, and they chit chat at you the whole time, and it definitely takes your mind off of it. So yeah, I'd say the pain is not that bad. It's nowhere near as bad as my piercings were. It's definitely manageable. Ankles are sharp. I've heard elbows are bad. So I've also heard if you're going to do painful spots like elbows, do it while you're young. It hurts a lot more when you're older. Fleshy bits tend to hurt less. But I don't know, my wrist was really good as well, though, even though it is kind of like a more bony bit. I think it's just because maybe there's not a lot of nerves there. I don't know. It wasn't that bad. And I'd say even this was quite good as well. Yeah, I guess it is different for everybody, but I would describe it as a really annoying cat scratch. And then in some bits, it does feel really sharp, but you can totally get through it. You'll totally be fine. So how do you go about getting a tattoo? What happens when you go to the shop? Essentially, for me, we know our tattoo artist quite well, so we can kind of call up and then book an appointment. But most shops, you have to go in and make your appointment, fill it out. Like you get your appointment booked in, and you have to put down a deposit. This is to guarantee that you're actually going to go to your tattoo appointment. You'd be amazed. Tons of people cancel. Tons of people are really flaky and think that it's nothing. But it's a lot of money for a tattoo artist. And if all of a sudden you cancel and they don't have anybody else to fill the chair, that could be a lot of money for them in one day. So they do tend to take deposits. If you let them know in advance that you do need to cancel for whatever reason, most of the time they're cool with it. But if you cancel the same day, wah, wah, goodbye deposit. Some tattoo shops will do walk-ins, so a lot of the time you can go straight in with your ID or whatever and just get tattooed then and there if they've got space for you. Don't be offended if they don't. Lots of popular tattoo shops do book like many months in advance. So yeah, that's kind of the way the booking process works, at least for my tattoo studio. That's how it is. You go, your tattoo artist, if they're drawing something custom for you, they'll show you like what they've drawn and make any changes if you want any changes. Otherwise, if you're happy to go, it's like a photocopy machine where it prints off a sheet that has the ink on it, a little bit like a temporary tattoo, but it just has the line work, usually in like a blue or a purple. And then after that, you kind of discuss where you're going to get it. Maybe they make sure it fits and they like size it down or shrink it or whatever. Don't be shy telling them if you don't like the placement. It's not a problem for them to wipe it off and try it again. You're going to have this tattoo for life. Making them readjust the tattoo several times and take 10 minutes is not the end of the world, and they will not be offended, especially for what you're paying. Most tattoo shops range anywhere from around about £70 these days up to £100. My tattoo shop charges £90 an hour. I have heard some that do charge more, like £120 or £140, but obviously you're going to be getting amazing work. When it comes to tattoos, you get what you pay for. If you pay nothing and get something done by a scratcher in their sitting room, it's going to be horrible. If you have a friend who has a tattoo kit and they're like totally wasted and they're going to tattoo something amazing on you, don't do it, babe. It won't be amazing. I swear, it won't be amazing. So yeah, you get what you pay for with tattoos. Yeah, my place is £90 an hour, and they're really good with us. However, yeah, there are places that are more, there are places that are less. Do your research. Look on Facebook, call them up. Most tattoo artists will have portfolios online or on Instagram. You just go in and see what their work is like. They'll sanitize you, they'll put on your stencil, they'll take it off, they'll make sure that it's all lined up, and then they'll get you in the chair. All tattoo shops will have clean needles. All tattoo shops will have sterilization equipment. Obviously, if you're nervous about that sort of thing, check them out. They will have their like health certifications on the walls, and there are a lot of laws and regulations regarding tattoo shops. So in order for them to be open, they will be like totally pristine and perfect and clean. But that's at least within the UK, the US, and Canada. I have heard of some really rough things going down in other countries. Just again, research who you're going to, ask them to see their health certifications. If you want, you can even ask them to see their autoclave machine, which is where they sterilize their needles and all of their equipment. Make sure all of the needles that they take out are in like sealed packaging, and don't like, if it's in like a little plastic baggie, that's not good enough. They should be like, I think the word's hermetically sealed. It's like it's medical equipment essentially. So just keep an eye out and make sure everything is safe. If you do feel uncomfortable in any sort of situation, speak up. If you feel that things are not sterilized, just get out of there. It's not worth risking your health. But that being said, all tattoo shops in the UK will be totally safe, or they can't be run. There's so many laws in place. Same with the US, same with Canada, same with most places, but keep an eye out. As I said, I have heard of some dodgy things in other countries. So yeah, they'll sit you down, they'll ask you how you're doing, how you're feeling, and ask you if you're ready to go and ready to start. And normally they will start somewhere that's not incredibly painful. If I remember correctly, Jake started round about here on my tattoo, which is quite a fleshy spot and it's not too bony. So that way you can kind of get a feel of what the pain is going to be like. If I remember correctly, I think Ro might have started in one of the most painful places on my leg tattoo, but that way it got easier throughout the tattoo. So it's, it is kind of up to the artist how they're going to do it, but usually they'll, say, are you ready? Yes, I'm okay, I'm ready. And they'll just start with a little line just to get you started, and then they'll ask you, how was that? And if you're like, yeah, it's fine, keep going, you keep going. If not, you have a line. But don't worry, you'll be fine. It's not that bad. You can do it. And then they'll tattoo you. It can take any period of time. This one took about 20 minutes. This one took maybe about 45. This one took about 4 hours. And then we did the black ink first, and then we did the color. Always make sure you eat before you go to your tattoo appointments, especially if you get a little bit woozy or if you're a bit of a fainter, which I can be. When I was getting this one done, I looked down at this particular star and I could see the blood seeping through my skin, and it instantly made me feel like I was going to pass out. And I told Jake right away. He was like, okay, and stepped back, and I had a drink of some energy drink just to put some more sugar back into my system. But make sure that you do eat something because it genuinely does help. Yeah, that's about all there is to it, I guess, for like getting the tattoo. I mean, at the end you pay for like your session, like how many hours you've been there. Always make sure you tip your tattoo artist. Always. If you do get a beautiful tattoo, you're gonna have it for life. Tip your tattoo artist. It is a lot of work what they do, and it isn't easy work either. Aftercare, maybe, I guess. When they're done with your tattoo, normally they'll put on some sort of salve. Maybe it'll be Vaseline or something like that, and then they will wrap you up in cling film. Sometimes it's gauze, sometimes it's different sort of medical bandages, stuff like that. My tattoo artists wrap me up in saran wrap or cling film. They tell you to leave it on for at least a couple of hours. Usually I wait till I get home, so it'll probably be about 4 or 5 hours. Take off the wrapping that they've given you, and then you want to clean your tattoo. So I usually start by I'll fill the sink up and I will wet the tattoo, or if I can get the shower head to be like gentle enough, you want it to be barely a stream. I'll lightly rinse it. You want it to be almost like it's dripping from a faucet, but it's coming out of the shower head. That's sometimes easy if you've got like awkward tattoos, or you can even just turn on your taps in your bathtub and stand in the bathtub and put your hands under the water and splash. It will feel slimy and gooey because there'll be so much plasma on top of your skin, and right away some of the plasma will be the color of the tattoo. What I do is I wet it, and like super duper gently in little circles, you just want to help to kind of work away the plasma that's there till your skin starts to feel like skin again, till it's not slimy. But you want to be so super gentle. Some people will use the back or the side of their hand if they can be more gentle that way. I just use my fingertips super duper gently. And then you want to take an antibacterial soap. I use Parsley Porridge from Lush, which is a parsley and tea tree based soap. It is antiviral and antibacterial. It does have oat milk in there to soothe the skin as well, but that one also has rolled oats, which can be a little bit scrubby. So I rub it straight onto my hands, and then I've got just the lather and the bubbles, and very gently just graze over the tattoo just to kind of keep it clean. Essentially, any sort of soap that's antibacterial. I wouldn't use anything really creamy. I wouldn't use like Dove or Sultana soap from Lush or anything like that. I wouldn't use Dream Wash. I've tried it before and it got all like stuck in the plasma, and I had a super hard time getting it off. It was not a good experience. You can use Honey I Wash the Kids. That soap works quite well because honey has antibacterial properties. Essentially, you just want to use something that's antibacterial and isn't going to sting your skin. Make sure you rinse off the soap really, really well. Then I let my tattoos completely air out for about 45 minutes until they are like totally, totally dry. What I use on my tattoos: coconut oil. Now this isn't just coconut oil. What I did is I melted down this whole pot and I added about 2% tea tree to it and about 1% lavender. Tea tree is antibacterial, so you're not gonna get like any infections or anything like that, hopefully, as long as you take good care of it. And then the lavender takes away any itchiness. Usually at about a week in, they get like insanely itchy, and it is so hard not to itch, but the lavender definitely seems to help. And I find this really easy because it stays sort of solid. I just scoop a little bit out and then it melts on my skin. With tattoos, you can kind of put not anything, but you can put a lot of different things on them while they're healing. You want to keep them moisturized and clean. That is your main goals. Some people will use Dream Cream to heal their tattoos. I've heard of a lot of people doing this. I personally don't, just because I like the oils. I feel like oil is a bit nicer for my skin, and a couple of the tattoo artists that I've been with have told me that they think that oils are the best for healing tattoos. A lot of artists in this country will recommend that you use Bepanthen, which is like a baby nappy rash cream. Bepanthen works great. I feel personally for me that it's just a little bit too sticky and it's too thick, like it pulls the skin when I apply it. So personally, it's not my favorite, but it definitely works. And if this is your first tattoo, just do what your artist recommends for you to do. I've done 2 tattoos with this, and I Yeah, I absolutely love it. It works really, really well for me. And maybe I can do a tutorial with how I've made this as well. It was really quick and easy. Do it for about 5 days, washing in the morning and at night. It is up to you if you want to cling film it again, at least for the first night. It depends on where your tattoo is, how painful it is. Some tattoo artists say never to put cling film on again. Some say that it's fine for the first 1 or 2 nights, just so like it doesn't rub on your clothing or like get stuck to your bed sheets or anything like that, which can indeed happen. But it is a preference. For me, it depends where my tattoo is. This is going to be a long ass video. I am so sorry. What else? Yeah, after about 5 days, you don't have to rinse it as often because it doesn't necessarily like scab so much. It kind of goes like peely and a bit kind of crusty. I've heard lots of people like it should never scab. I've heard lots of people say it should always scab. Just watch your body and see what your body does. As long as you're taking good care of it, you're not using any soaps that are too harsh, and you're using whatever your tattoo artist recommends, your tattoo is going to end up fine. It's going to end up beautiful. Just take good care of it. And if anything funny seems to happen, like if it goes a funny color, it starts oozing, stays really red, anything, like if you had a cut and you had an infection, ask your tattoo artist or go to a doctor and see what you need. Essentially, think of it like a wound. If you fell on the ground and had to treat a scrape, what would you do? You would let it breathe. You would put an ointment on it of some sort, whether it's bepanthen or an oil. Don't put anything like polysporin or Savlon on because it can draw out your ink. I just put the oil on. I keep putting it on kind of like when I remember after that, just to keep it really soft and keep it from itching. Some tattoos heal really quick. My wrist was pretty much good in about a week and a half, but I've had other ones, like my leg ones in particular, because I wear skirts all the time. They've taken more like 4 weeks to like completely flake off and be like totally healed. And even after they flaked off and feel totally healed, sometimes the skin is still really tender on my legs and they still do get itchy every once in a while. And I've had my candle since February. Enjoy your new tattoos, whatever you plan to get. I'll link down below to my artists, about everything that I've said. If you have any comments or questions, or if there's anything I missed, pop them down below. I can always do a follow-up video, not a big deal. So yeah, feel free to like and subscribe for more like this, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye!